The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN just after 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Thursday morning. We got a little bit of volatility. We got a call with President Trump, President Xi in China. That's the report coming out of Chinese state media. Careful what you believe out of Chinese state media, right? But that is nonetheless the reports coming out early this morning, hitting the tape at about 8:45, and you see the volatility. S&Ps right now, we were just chopping around at about 59.80. You get a little bit of a bid. We're positive by 0.25%, trading at 59.94. NASDAQ 100, similar action. On the potential news that you got a little bit of communication between the U.S. and China. NASDAQ 100 up by 45 points right now. We were all the way up to 21,898. We're trading up by 0.2%. Dow up by 90 points, 0.2% in the positive as well. And the Russell positive by 5. Bitcoin up $1,000 at 106,500. We jumped to notes and bonds and the metals. And boy, they were catching a bid. And we've had a little bit of a recoil on the potential easing of the tensions with the U.S. and China. And it is amusing. Whether amusing, interesting, whatever it is, I mean, we got nothing this morning, folks. Chinese media says that Trump holds a call with Xi, okay? And let's, you get over to the headline. There's the headline. All right, there it is. It's just coming out, all right? And that's all we have right now. That's it. Chinese media outlet, Xinhua. Is that how you pronounce it? Let's see what they even link to. Is this the official one? English News, China. There it is. That's it. Urgent. Xi, Trump, hold phone, talks. There you go. That's all we got. And you got the market reacting, right? Nonetheless, we're talking about right now. You take a look at yields. Higher price, lower yield. 10-year under 4.35, and we've recoiled a bit. You're down by 10 ticks from where we spiked to, but 4.35, the yield on the 10-year, not bad, 4.35. That leading to dollar weakness. Dollar coming back to test those lows, baby. 98.75 right now. You're pushing the lows of about 98 out there. Recent lows back in April. And yeah, that gold is flat. 3,400 on the dot. But boy, silver having a moment. Check it out, man. Cannot deny the action in silver this morning, folks. That's the move you want to break above these highs. For you silver bulls out there, you're getting a move, and you're getting a move that matters, man. You're getting it with volume in a big way. You spiked to 36.24. We're trading right now at 35.87. You put silver on a weekly. Talk about building cause in the next leg up. 21.32, about a $10 leg. Yeah, maybe $43 silver. It is remarkable when you look at the run up now. It's crazy, not crazy, but we're now at above this 35 area. That's the high from 2012. And if you zoom in on silver on that euphoric run in 2011, you were only above 35 for a brief period of time. Couple months, but realistically, that was your top for the entire year of 2012, and then you really ratcheted lower. That's the area we're bumping up against right now, but silver's going to have some volume, man. Even if you take the 1980 exacerbated high, and this is always what we talk about, right? I was talking about this on the program yesterday, I think, when we were talking about one of the equities, and I said, it's just sometimes you don't have to give it much. And, if you were ever in silver in that run up in 2011, and you were thinking about where should I get out, and you were hitting 49.82 on silver, I hope you were paying attention to the fact that there was a high out there of 50.50 from when the Hunt brothers squeezed the whole market. From early 1980, even before I was born. January of 1980. Is that when it is? January of 1980, man. Sometimes, folks, the technicals just light up that easily. Maybe silver's making another run, but boy, that is a strong move. And you put this thing on a monthly, it's amazing that it doesn't even look like a consolidation on a monthly. On a monthly, this looks like you got higher highs and higher lows on silver. But boy, that is a bar. And think about it, that's a bar on a monthly basis in silver and we're only 5 days into the month, right? So we got a real potential there for some huge action on a monthly basis. All right, we jump around to some of the equities this morning. It's going to be interesting to see if we get some details. We got tariff news today. Amazon shares, they like that we might have some easing in China. Always interesting to see the pockets of this market that are more prone to the China news. Amazon up by $3 on that potential easing this morning. Microsoft barely in the green to 464. We jump over to Apple shares, up by $1. And this is where, when you get mornings like this, right? And if you're trying to trade this market thinking that there's certain sectors where there's China, you would think that Apple will get a huge reprieve this morning. No, Apple's only up 80 pennies. Now, Apple was lower last night, all right, versus a company like Amazon up by $3 right now. Walmart shares basically flat. They're not prone to the China bump right now at all. And you jump to Dollar Tree. Yeah, they're getting a little bit of a bounce because as the demise of yesterday had to do with the fact that they're getting almost half of their goods are imported. Dollar Tree. Dollar General, only about 20% of their goods are imported. Pretty remarkable. A company like Dollar General is working off only 20% imports. You always, in my head, I think you would think that a company like that's importing all the cheap stuff, right? Not as much. They got a lot of produce and consumables for Dollar General. All right, let's talk a little bit of Tesla. Elon Musk, the pitchforks are out. The brotherly love is over, folks. Tesla down $9 to $323. Did I lose that article already? I don't think so. I'll find it. All right. But Elon making a statement about that tax bill that seems like everybody should be making. Don't quite understand it. It's in the Senate. For all the work that Doge was supposedly going to do in saving all that money, we're adding trillions to the deficit. And the problem is you can always pro forma your way into balancing things, folks, right? Imagine if you're raising money, you could always pro forma your way into growth that somehow pays for any valuation that you give your company. And that's kind of what's going on. Do I want all that growth? Yes. Is it possible? Of course it's possible. Is it likely? No, it's not likely. Growth would be great. Maybe it'll come. But here's the kicker. You don't need to hope for growth to pay for everything. There could be a middle ground that, guess what? You can pay for things, and if you get excessive growth, what do? Yeah, you're going to have excess money, and then you can give it back. On the flip side of that, you put your balance sheet together where the only way that you balance out is a growth ratio that's very difficult to achieve at best. So Elon's out there, but guess what? Elon doesn't have his tax credits, and now he's coming for him, right? So going to be interesting to see how this relationship shakes out. You got Tesla shares down almost $10 right now in the pre-market, trading at $322. And boy, when he was in the White House, there was your bump from being in the White House, from 250 to 500. Consolidate back down here at 250. But boy, if he starts bringing it to the White House, get your spikes up on those Tesla shares, man. We're at 322 right now. You're down by $10 as we got the market popping. We got a lot to talk about, folks. We'll come back. We'll talk some other equities. Don't go away. If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento. A pro's pro with over 50 years of experience, Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Welcome back, folks. And yeah, jumping around to some of the verbiage. And this is the article I was trying to find here. And Elon's not happy about those tax credits, man. And, you know, this is not the political take. You better be paying attention to the Tesla stock if you're going to have the Elon going straight from the Oval Office to Twitter telling people to vote against the president. It's an amazing contradiction when you look at it in that context here. He's on a mission to block President Trump's tax bill after he tried to get his own measures in there, right? If he had gotten the tax credits, he might have been a little bit more quiet about it, because that's what he was trying to do. He tried and failed to convince Republican lawmakers to preserve those valuable $7,500 tax subsidies that are set to end by 2025. Well, it didn't happen. Now he says, call your senator, call your congressman. Bankrupting America is not okay. I wonder if it would have been okay if he had $7,500 tax credits. We won't find out because he doesn't. You have Speaker of the House Johnson, okay, and this is, you know, they're calling it a reconciliation bill, okay. They're delivering the America First agenda, okay. And yeah, he's going to let everyone draw their own conclusions of the motivation. I agree, okay. EV mandates going away. He runs Tesla, period. End of the sentence. But it doesn't detract from the fact that it's going to end with trillions of dollars added for tax cuts. You might not call it a spending bill, but it's just like I've said before, folks, you can't do one or the other. All right? Anybody who cares about the deficit, you can't do one or the other. It seems like everything becomes partisan, and nobody can ration with you can't go either side, as in Republicans could easily pass a tax cut bill that was supposed to balance over 10 years, but they'd have to make more cuts than they're willing to. In the same way that Democrats could easily pass a bill that balances over the next 10 years, right? But they'd have to raise taxes way too much and can't get that done. Nobody can square the two. right? Republicans are all about tax cuts, but they're not willing to make the cuts necessary right now because their constituents would probably rebel, right? Medicare and Medicaid, everyone's saying they're not cutting Medicare and Medicaid. If they actually had to cut trillions more over 10 years, think about what would be said on those cuts, right? They're not even cutting it. They're just going to do tax cuts, and then we're going to add trillions of dollars. And yes, if we grow the economy in a way we never have, and maybe AI does, then maybe it pays for itself, right? Democrats will just spend the money, and we're not going to raise the taxes to actually pay for it. They may try. They try and raise, it's just, I don't get it, man. I don't get it at all. And these growth estimates, all right? And the wildest thing already is that we already did this once. We did it in 2017. President Trump did this in 2017. This is an extension of those cuts. The same arguments were made in 2017 about the growth that could come that could pay for the cuts, and it didn't happen. So I don't understand why everybody gets frustrated, like somehow you're knocking back on the president, right? Oh, you're just knocking him. This is a pro-growth agenda. We're going to open up growth by cutting taxes. We already did it, and it didn't pay for itself. Even before COVID, it didn't pay for itself. 2019 didn't pay for itself. We did not have the level of growth necessary for these tax cuts when we did it the first time. So now we're going to have it the second time? No, it's not happening. So, yeah, even if Elon is talking his own book, surprising enough that the richest man in the world would care about his wealth, okay, of course he is. But be aware, as Tesla's down $10 right now, okay, that's a changing moment that you have Elon coming outright. This is a huge bill for the president, man. If you got Elon coming out here building some demand to tank it, does the wrath of the president come to Tesla? I don't think it's going to be that far, all right? President Trump's very smart. He's not going to want to pick a fight with Elon. Elon's got his cohort of supporters as well. But we're on the cusp of something interesting here. As Tesla's rolling over a bit, we're going to open at 322 right now. And, if anybody else called this bill what Elon called it, okay, bankrupting America is not okay. If a Democrat writes that, what's Trump going to call him? Right? Well, Elon just said it. We'll see how that meanders, but pay attention to that stock because, yeah, you're going to see some volatility, to put it lightly. All right, we jump around to some of the action this morning. So we got Dollar Tree, we got Dollar General, and now we got Five Below. And check out Five Below, man. Some strong numbers last night. Yeah, 86 cents a share is what they earn versus the estimate of about 82. They beat on revenue as well. Second quarter revenue above the expectations. Look at that stock, man. Five Below, huh? Folks, what do I always say about the technicals, right? Sometimes you don't have to be a genius. The low in 2020 was $47.53. You got within $5 of that price point on the April pullback. You surge higher as they are open to those tariffs extremely, and Five Below. Man, we're going to pop to 130. You pull it back on a weekly. What are we coming into? You got the lows out here of about 144 back in September of 2023. That's really the only thing in front of this thing right now. You're going to be well above the highs we had on December 2nd when you had tremendous volume trading higher. We're going to open at 130. It's going to be right in the middle of this bar when you traded lower. The high of that bar is about 138. So 138 to 145 is where you're trading to for Five Below shares, trading higher this morning. All right, speaking of other retailers, boy, you talk about a tough one, man. Land's End, clothing retailer. Yeah, they've been in trouble. They're a little bit higher this morning, but boy, that is quite a chart, man. Coming back down to test the lows of 2023 after trading up to almost $20. Whew. Yeah, be careful of this one, man. You're getting a little bit of a bounce today. I pull it back. They have their numbers out. You're up to 824, but boy, that's not a stock I'm touching just yet. They still lost 18 cents a share, basically in line. Revenue, though, comes in at 261 versus 273. So they miss on revenue. They barely come in at earnings per share. And you get some problems on Land's End, to put it lightly. That's interesting. Dollar Tree. They actually got an upgrade from JP Morgan in there, too. Looks like maybe the price they're dealing with, they're liking it at $90. All right, we got markets in the positive. We check in on yields coming into the opening bell. Reprieve a bit, giving a little bit off on that China news. We're sitting at about 4.35 right now in the 10-year, the dollar right now. Ooh, okay. It's happening, folks. It's happening. It's all happening. Look at that. Even with yields moving, okay? Dollar's dropping, man. It's not even close. Look at this move in the dollar we got going on. Woo-wee. Look at that move in the dollar. That is a move, baby. 98,442. The only thing we got out here is the lows of April 22nd at 97.92. We're coming back for the opening bell, folks. We got dollar weakness. We got markets in the green. Stay tuned, folks. Coming right back.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, traversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs? Trade wars? Analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got equities open, and you got the S&Ps up by 14 points, NASDAQ up by 56, the Dow up by 55. The news of the day, though, you got China potentially, but look at this dollar, right? 98.40. We're dropping like a stone, man. Even since where we were at about 9 a.m. this morning, dollar making new lows. You jump over the yields right now, the 10-year. Interesting action recoiling. 10 years right back to where we were at 4 in the morning. But you got dollar weakness no matter what is going on in this market right now. You jump around to the commodities. Gold up by $4 right now. Silver having a little bit of a moment. Yeah, holding on to those gains, up by 4.2%, up $1.44. We jump over to copper right now. There you go, copper. Now copper, we're pushing the upper boundary here on copper. Let's go back. You're trading copper. Be careful out there. We got some highs. You're going to have to blow through them just like silver. We got copper out there with highs at around 520 and 534. But for a 3-week period, you rolled over at about 515 back there in March. And boy, when you rolled over in copper, you traded from $5 and change down to $4 in a heartbeat. We're pushing those highs hit again, though. Look at that move in copper right now. Jump over to crude. Yeah, commodities trading higher. When you're getting dollar movement like this, man, commodities are all going to be trading higher. We jump around to some of the gold equities. You talk about moves, right? Harmony, up by another 4% so far this morning. Wheat and precious metals. Look at that weekly. Quite the acceleration yesterday. We go back to a daily. Geez, wheat and precious. You're looking for the 1 to 1.618 expansion. Almost 105 is where this thing can run to. Some of the silver stocks catching a bid, rightfully so. You got Hecla up by almost 7% right now. First Majestic up by 7%, pushing the highs at $8 from last November. Look at these runs. All right, we jump back to some equities. The market giving it up. Oh, watch out. Uh-oh. So much for the optimism of negotiations between the U.S. and China. Yeah, 208.75. Amazon gives it back. Apple shares basically flat at 202. You jump over to Microsoft, flat as well. Netflix only goes up in this market, folks. Only goes up. No, I kid, but my goodness, quite a chart. 1241 for Netflix shares. We check in on Tesla, having a tough one. Yeah, be careful on Tesla. I'm not the only one noticing. No matter what's going on fundamentally, folks, you got changing in the guard. When you got Elon out there tweeting directly, telling people to vote against the president's biggest initiatives of tax cuts, down by 3.8%. Number of variables that go into trading that equity, my goodness. All right, let's talk a little Nintendo. So the Nintendo Switch 2, it's coming out today. Some of these numbers, man. Now, this is an opinion piece. It's talking about Nintendo Switch 2, but some of the statistics, right? And it is remarkable. We got a Switch 2 in the household, folks. I got a 4-year-old, okay? Nintendo, yeah, it's perfect for a 4-year-old. Screen time, we keep it to a minimum. All things in context, right? All things in reasonable nature. But he loves the Switch. Now, we see PlayStation out there. He knows about Xbox. His brother has an Xbox as well. But it is remarkable how well the Switch works. And when you look at the fact that on a handheld basis, there's no other competitor, right? Switch 2 has the handheld market all to itself. In the world where we all carry a phone, think about this, right? And this is where innovation, there's just so much that's going to come down the line still. We live in a world where we all carry phones. And if you carry an Apple phone, it's worth about $800, $900, $1,000. Switch was only $200 to $300, the original one. The new one, I think it's going to be, what, $450, $400, something. It's going to be more expensive. So they have a product that they sell for $250, $299, I think the Switch was. And nobody can compete with them, even though we all have phones that cost $1,000 in our pockets, right? Well, details matter, man. Process matters, right? They got a couple controllers on there. You can switch it out onto your TV, etc. But when you go down the line, okay, this has been out for 8 years. Nobody comes close. PlayStation tried to create a product that you need to have a PlayStation with, though, and nobody's caught up. The first Switch hit the market in 2017. Now, what's remarkable is they had the Nintendo Wii. That was a hit in its own right. Then they tried to launch the Wii U. Only 13.6 million units, okay? They had 100 million units of the Wii. They come back for 13.6 of the Wii U. You say, uh-oh, they've lost ground. Microsoft, Sony, they can't compete, right? What they decided to do is they go on their own foray, okay? They don't have the technical capability. They relied on the content, the brands that they had, and just like with the Game Boy, weaker hardware compared to its competitors mattered little when the games were so smart and joyful, and they've sold 150 million Switch consoles, and I'll tell you, and that's consoles, little on the games that come with it, right? And as somebody that played the Game Boy, I remember playing Tetris. Man, I could rock that Tetris in the days past. And yeah, I mean, it's despite being given, and they got bigger quests going on, right? Microsoft, are they going to spend their time cracking the handheld video game business? Well, shoot, if you can sell 150 million consoles, folks, you better, right? Sony tried it with the PlayStation Portal, but that only worked if you had access to a PlayStation 5 to stream your games from. A more direct Switch-like handheld is said to be in the works. They're going to try and push it through the PlayStation 6, meaning 2027 or later. So boom, the Switch 2 is going to have a 2-year lead on anything the PlayStation comes out with. Now, the Xbox has tried as well. The latest Xbox consoles have heavily outsold PlayStation, okay? They're trying to have partnerships. They're going to have Xbox-branded device launching next year. Portable way to play PC games. They're trying to do it, okay? But that itself, what they talk about, is just going to be a research experience for Microsoft. The site adds that a wholly Microsoft-designed Xbox handheld isn't likely until 27 at the earliest. And folks, Microsoft, right? Microsoft's out there signing nuclear power plant deals to plow through AI. Now, they have divisions dealing with the Xbox, of course. But it just speaks to the innovation that could really push forward. All right, Nintendo thinks they can sell as many as 20 million Switch 2 consoles by March next year if it can make them quick enough. Yeah. You're going to have tariffs out there, of course, okay? And then you're going to have the question of whether gamers might balk at the increased cost of some of the marquee titles, right? The launch date drew near. The fact that Nintendo did not send out consoles to gaming publications for review, saying that important features and updates will be made available by launch day. Many are basically taking that. They're still working on it. They're still working on the Switch 2. They haven't sent out the Switch 2 yet to gaming publications to review it, so they're still tweaking it. They're still tweaking it. And I tell you, as somebody that has a Switch 1, okay, the biggest sales competitor to the Switch 2 will be the Switch 1. Yeah. Which is only around 10 million units shy of overtaking the PlayStation 2 as the biggest selling console of all time. And I'll tell you, somebody with a Switch 1, we're not buying a Switch 2 yet. Why are you going to do it? We'll finish this up. More equities to go. Stay tuned, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey. Because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. I was going to say shares. Jumping back to that conversation one last time and taking a look at the Nintendo Switch 1 versus Switch 2. A couple articles out here. I was just going through the CNET one, I think. Was that the one I was going through? No, I was going through the PC Mag one. Yeah, I was going through this one. The point being, it's just like the phones these days. And it's going to be interesting, as in, yeah, everybody gets a new phone, but the discernible differences are sometimes unnoticeable, right? As in, it's got a slightly better screen, but even that, it's a little bit bigger. But Tommy's got the OLED one, the Switch 1, and they actually talk about in here that the new Switch is an LCD, okay? Yeah, I scrolled past it. The new screen is an LCD, and what's remarkable is, here we go. The OLED Switch, which is the Switch 1, actually has an edge in contrasting color. OLED screens can show incredibly dark blacks and usually have wider color range than LCDs. So the Switch 2 is an LCD, more vibrant than the standard Switch screen, but it can't compete with the OLED. Right? So it's interesting how, and they go from there. You're going to have 4K on the new Switch 2. Who cares about 4K right now when you're talking about a Switch? To a certain degree, that's, and I keep saying it, but realistically, 4K is great. Folks, these things are so crystal clear already, and that's where it's going to be tough for them to separate the two. Nonetheless, they got a new one, and yeah, they got more storage. Storage usually isn't a problem right now, but then it comes to the games, and this is where it's going to be interesting to see. They're going to have some exclusive games on the Switch 2. You're going to have online events on the Switch 2. They can do more for chatting. But it's a nuanced deal, and they're going to be competing with the Switch 1. You got 150 million people that already have the Switch 1. What's the impetus to upgrade? Going to be interesting to see how that one goes forward. And yeah, Tesla. And I found the article I was looking for. It was from the Journal. There's the article. Trump losing patience with Musk's outbursts over mega bill. Well, it's not going to stop. Not sure why he's surprised if Doge is supposed to be saving a lot of money, and that bill's adding trillions. But yeah, describing the president as confused as to why Elon decided to ratchet up his criticism after working so closely with the president for 4 months. Caught off guard. Well, you don't know Elon then. That's what I say. I mean, does that surprise anybody if you see what he's doing? Elon's his own man with his own book. And yeah. Disgusting abomination. He's got some strong words, man. Abhorrent package of deficit fueling spending. So pay attention to that one, man. We got a changing of the guards. And yeah, we'll see if we go. Now, Trump and Xi spoke by phone as trade and tech disputes strain the ties out there, but they spoke by phone. According to China's foreign ministry, as trade tensions roil relations between the world's two largest economies. The phone call between the leaders, that's their first known formal contact since Trump took office. And yeah, White House has not responded yet. So we're getting all the news from Chinese state media, which is moving the markets right now, folks. The White House has not responded. Yeah. And they got a lot to talk about, of course, whether it's rare earths, trades, tariffs, etc. But nonetheless, they're talking. And the market, not quite sure what to make of that just yet this morning. All right, we jump to Procter & Gamble. They're going to cut 7,000 jobs. Yeah, 7,000 jobs. They got 108,000 employees as of June of last year. But you have execs in Paris said they plan to trim the company's product portfolio, exiting some categories and divesting it of some smaller brands in certain markets. They haven't given any specifics. And you jump over, and this has been a strong equity. You're pulling back today. All right, so pay attention to this one, man. You're looking for equities at the bottom of their channel line. There's Procter & Gamble. Well defined on the bottom of that channel line. You're down 1.4% today. Look at this market rolling over right now. Procter & Gamble down by $2 off 1.4%, 163.85. Let's check out the volume. All right, we get some nice volume at the highs there on May 30th. You trade up to 170. We're getting into the area April 17th. You see the reaction on some of the fears of tariffs for a company like Procter & Gamble, but nonetheless down by 1.4% right now. And yeah, coming into that lower boundary of their channel line. All right, we check in on some of those retailers. Five Below, strong numbers, up by almost 12%. Check that out. Jump over to Dollar Tree. Look at that. Yeah, they got an upgrade today on the heels of their tough numbers yesterday, up by 4% right now. Dollar General up by 1.5%. Let's check in on the home builders. Now, they had quite a run yesterday, man. Keep your eye on these home builders, folks. They got some work to do, but boy, we're right back in the highs of 2023. And I felt like yesterday, if this is the beginning, right? We're seeing it in yields a bit, higher price, lower yield. We're seeing it in a weaker dollar in dramatic fashion with the dollar at 98.41. And yeah, all of the home builders yesterday. That was a nice bid. Now we're bumping up against this area we've had. But if you start getting lower yields, right? Lower mortgage costs, and they're not having any follow through today, but yields haven't moved dramatically. But watch the yields. I'm watching these home builders, man, because yesterday was a move. You got D.R. Horton down about 0.5% today as well, but that was a move yesterday. All the home builders up by 3, 4, 5% on some weaker yields. Gold up by $7. You got silver up by 4% on a big number. Jump around to some of the other equities. Nvidia down about 0.5%. We jump around the chip stocks. AMD off by 1.4%. Oracle up by 0.5% right now. We jump over to Salesforce up by 0.2% right now. Yeah, this one's been weighing Salesforce. On a weekly basis, you dive lower a year ago. On dramatic volume, you come down, you test that April 7th. But boy, you look at this market. They got something. You look at this chart, excuse me. Salesforce got some issues here, man. This is a great equity, but this chart looks like some problems. Look at the volume we just got last week on their numbers. You put it back to a daily. Yeah, you can make the case that you rejected that, but boy, 260 is a tough one, man. You trade below 260 in Salesforce, watch out. It's kind of their spike low area from May 29th in their numbers. Today you're up by 0.4%. Jump around to some of the banks. JP Morgan down about 0.7%. We're checking on Wells Fargo. They lift their asset cap yesterday. How about that one, right? You give it all up. Look at that. They trade higher, you give it up, you're at $74. You're down another 0.7% for Wells Fargo right now. Jump around the banks. Morgan Stanley basically flat right now, and Goldman Sachs down about 0.4%. We got markets in the red. We got dollar weakness, commodities on the rise. One more segment, folks. Stay tuned. I'm coming right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. Markets in the red right now. S&P's off by about 14. And yeah, silver having a moment. Highest price we've seen since, 2012, 2013. This article says 2013 on the futures. On a continuous, I got 2012 out there. 13 years since 2012. That's the number, man. Silver, $36 an ounce. And yeah, you go all the way back to 2012. Silver, catching up, man, for you silver bulls. There you go. Talk about a run. And that Nintendo, right? We talked about that Nintendo. And if you pull up the ADR, this is an instance. Be careful of buy the rumor, sell the news if you're out there. There's Nintendo. You're down by 1.8%. But boy, look at the run and the anticipation, man. Right? This year alone from 14 to 22. 14 to 22, even if you take out the volatility. And this is stated as the $95 billion in Kyoto. It's amazing, folks. I'll have to find the high school. If you're not familiar, if you're looking for an amazing high school around Dedham, Massachusetts, folks, Noble and Greeno, amazing. I started there in 7th grade when I was 12 years old. In 12 years old, it was 1992, and Japan was taking the world by storm. And they offered, you had to take a language class while you were there, and they offered Spanish and Japanese were the 3 options. You know what? I'm going to take some Japanese, man. It was amazing. I ended up taking it for 6 years. Went on an exchange trip the summer after my sophomore year. Ate with a beautiful family in there in Japan. And, yeah, we were right around Kyoto. And I'll find that school at some point. Amazing people. Can't wait to go back. Can't there. 30 years ago almost right now, but in Kyoto. Nonetheless, Nintendo, they're negative. Careful. All that anticipation already in that equity market's giving it up. With the S&P's off by 18, NASDAQ 100 off by 36. We got some dollar weakness. You got silver spiking the highs we haven't seen since 2012. Folks, thanks so much. Stay tuned. Basil Chapman's coming up next. We got our man Steve Rhodes. We got Larry Pesavento, and I'll be back at 3 o'clock. Have a